Hey everybody, this is Carrick. I'm here doing a live cast. The first time I've ever done this. This game is actually happening live right now as I'm watching it. It is a tournament match from the 2+2 tournament between pwnxssgame1, who's going to be the orange Zerg spawning over here on the left side, and XSS, who is going to be the yellow Protoss spawning down here in the bottom. XSS is, I believe, a mid to high Masters Protoss. pwnxssgame1 is the same. I know pwnxssgame1 was within the top 400 at some point. I know XSS is also very good, so this should be a very good matchup. The series is currently at 2-0. I wish who was leading. I knew who was leading. They just messaged me and told me to jump in and get this, so we're going to try this and see how it works. Upload it to YouTube. So pwnxssgame1 is in the lead, 2-0. I would say he's definitely the favorite here. pwnxssgame1 is a very, very excellent player. He's an interesting player in that he sort of handicaps himself in that he won't use hotkeys. He makes incredibly good decisions, but he won't even hotkey his queens. The fact that he was near around the top 400 players in the United States without using hotkeys is a testament to his skill, and is also a testament to how frustrating it is that a player like him sort of caps himself at that skill level. So hopefully that's something he can change, and it really does have the potential to get in the Grandmasters League. Over here we have XSS. XSS is a very good Protoss. It's just an extremely solid overall player. I have played him a few times. I wouldn't say he's cheesy or anything. He's just a very solid macro player. This is on MLG Metalopolis, which means, of course, that there can be no close spawn, and that this supply depot will be here out in front of each base, preventing a 3-pylon block in this matchup. We can see that pwnxssgame1 has gone hatchery first, which is always a risky decision to make against a Protoss, because it was really easy, even though he's thrown this gateway down first, and of course we're going to have some lag. That's the problem with doing a live cast, is that we deal with these lag issues. Hopefully it doesn't lag out. We have to restart. There we go. Is that he can just throw down a forge, and someone says, "Oh well, Cannon pwnxssgame1 is from Canada." He can just throw down a forge, and then possibly cannon rush pwnxssgame1. So we'll see if he'll do that. I do not think he will. pwnxssgame1 probably does know how to defeat the cannon rush properly, and there also is going to be no pylon block here. You can see a cybernetic score going down, which means that there will be no rush here from XSS. Very standard. He does have one gas. Whether or not he grabs a second gas soon will be indicative of a lot of things, especially if he's doing any sort of early tech with the close air positions. Obviously, Stargate tech will be really popular, and of course pwnxssgame1 is going to see most of what's going on here and knows that no cannon rush will be coming. He does throw down very standard pool, has not gotten a gas yet. I would expect him probably to delay the gas till 20 or 21. There's really no reason to get it early. I would assume that to be safe he might throw a spine crawler down here pretty quick, because if he were to chrono boost out a stalker and a zealot, he could do quite the harass. As pwnxssgame1 will not have lings yet, the stalker can kite the lings, and of course the zealot does a lot of damage. You can see the probe's going to get up here and see everything. pwnxssgame1 still is pumping out 2 queens, still does not have a gas. Gas at this point I would say is a little late. It's possible he's doing some sort of Spanishiwa style of play, and we can see that the spine crawler is going to go down here to keep him very safe. We do see the proxy pylon here in the gold right outside of pwnxssgame1's base. That could be indicative of some sort of 4-gate, and the fact that XSS has not taken a gas yet, I think does indicate he may be going for a 4 warp gate rush, and the stalker is going to be the first unit, and we do see the 4 gates going down, so indeed he does appear to be 4-gating here. pwnxssgame1 has this Overlord over here where XSS will deny the scout, but pwnxssgame1, knowing that he didn't take that early second gas and seeing, I assume he'll probably send a scouting link over, and we'll see the stalker at the front of the base is going to alert him to the possibility of a 4-gate. Although a sentry's the next unit out, which can possibly be deceitful and make him think that he's doing a 3-gate expand. We can see he has the lings moving around. He is looking for the proxy pylon. He does smell some sort of shenanigans, although it's sort of standard to scan around with the proxy pylon. He also has these scouting links that are coming up here to see what's going on in the front of the base. So very, very interesting. From pwnxssgame1 here, we can see he's missing an inject here. I assume he'll get that in a second. See, he has 3 spine crawlers over the front of his base. The spine crawlers do a heck of a lot of damage and are very, very effective static defenses. The problem is if he gets ramp run here, or the ramp gets forced a little off and you can't have reinforcements, he is going to need Zerglings to deal with any sort of 4-gate. Let's see what sort of scouting pwnxssgame1 did get done here. I do assume that he did find the proxy pylon, so he did take that down. He does have to be smelling trouble at this point, and we can say that he is massing out Zerglings. We can see that XSS is building a Stalker and Zealots, and he does need to place another proxy pylon. But with the close bases, he is going to be, well, he actually doesn't have it. It would be really nice if he had a pylon back here so he could warp in on the low ground if necessary, but I assume he will be placing another pylon up here. This will delay it a little bit. The 4-gate was not going to hit as suddenly as it could. But this will still be an interesting rush. 3 Spine Crawlers in the Zerglings. We do see he's coming up here. He's going to poke a little bit. Zergling speed is not done. It's not even being researched. All these Spine Crawlers. Wow, a surround on the Probe. There's no micro whatsoever coming out of XSS. I mean, you would think he would stutter step back a little bit with those Stalkers rather than taking the hits, but he did not take any hull damage, and the Zealots, of course, tear up Zerglings, so it really wasn't too bad, all things considered. Obviously, with no gas, Pwnxssgame1 isn't going to have Ling speed anytime soon. He's going to have to rely on these Spine Crawlers, Queens, and Zerglings to do any sort of defense. Zealot heavy composition coming in. He's going to get a surround on these 3 Zealots, 4 Zealots. Ling's got a full surround on the Zealots. This is really, really good for Pwnxssgame1. He's even fighting within range of the Spine Crawlers. At this point, he's out of range of the Spine Crawlers, but that is okay because he has surround and wants to take these units down. We have 4 more Zealots coming in, but I don't think that he's going to be able to break this. The power of the Spines is too much. What he's going to need to do is he's going to need to ramp run up and get into his main and create all sorts of havoc. This is a great opportunity for him to do it. He's not taking advantage of it. He is going to back up. Those 24 Zerglings popping out would probably be able to handle this, and it does appear that he is going home and taking an expansion. Now, expanding off of a 4-gate is obviously rather difficult. He cut probes at about 20 or 21, which is pretty standard. He did lose the probe over here. On the other hand, Pwnxssgame1 is now going to feel incredibly safe and is going to drone extremely hard. But he did force a lot of Zerglings here, so it's not like he didn't do any damage at all, and all these Zerglings really didn't do much of anything, although they can come down here and do some harass, but without speed, that is a little bit risky. He's going to lose this pylon, and he's going to lose this pylon, which is going to hurt with this bad early economy. We do see him now taking a second gas. He's putting out a Stargate, so XSS is pretty far behind here. We can see that Pwnxssgame1 has already jumped up to a 12 Harvester lead. Usually with the Spinichi style, once you get around 40 supply of drones, you'll take the gas. But we can see he's taken it earlier. This is probably a bit of a special circumstance. We do see that Ling speed is now started, and Pwnxssgame1 is going to poke over here with these Zerglings. It's a little bit dangerous to be poking out with Zerglings without speed because it's not so easy to escape, get in a bad situation. I do not think he has enough Lings to handle this force. That's just way too Zealot heavy, and with the sentries that are going to do the extra damage as well as force fields that'll decrease the area of attack of the Zerglings, there's really not much he can do. We can see Pwnxssgame1 is droning really hard. Another 9 drones come out. He's going to start taking a very large lead here. He does need to do a little bit of scouting because this Stargate, right now, all he has are 2 Queens. That would be his only defense against the Stargate. We do see a Roach Warren going down. But again, that's not, and a Baneling Nest, that's not going to do so well against the Stargate. This is a really smart tech switch here by XSS. 2 or 3 Void Rays in this base could do quite a bit of damage. While Queens are good against Void Rays, 2 charged Void Rays or 2 Queens without energy for a transfuse should beat the Queens depending on the micro. I do see a nice little bit of creep spreading. I would like to see more creep spread, especially out this way and to connect to his 3rd. Another great thing about the Void Ray is even if he doesn't do damage here, he can deny the 3rd base because there's obviously no creep connecting this, and it's going to be really hard for him to get up there and do any sort of defense, especially since he doesn't have a Hydra Den, he only has a Roach Warren. His lair has yet to finish. He does not have any evolution chain whatsoever, but he is droning so hard that he's so far ahead. XSS is going to have to do massive damage. I assume he will wait for 2 Void Rays, possibly 3. He may even try and get a Phoenix out with them. I do think he's probably just going to go for the Void Rays at this point, though. He knows he's far behind. He's trying to do what he can to get back in the game. We can see he's using the Chrono Boost on the Stargate. He might want to consider using some of that on probes to catch up, but it is so important for him to do harass. We can see that this is now going up. The spines are going down. He's researching Burrow and Glial Reconstitution and is making an Overseer. Where is that Overseer morphing? Which indicates he might be afraid of some sort of DTs. DTs would be really nice here, and probably more of a standard thing for someone to do when they're far behind. Most Protoss go right to DTs, but the Stargate would also be another thing. I'm really pretty shocked that Pwnxssgame1 has made no effort to go in and see what the tech is. I mean, for all he knows, he could be massing out Immortals right now, which his Roach composition would not be quite good against, especially with Banelings. They just not so good against Immortal and Roach, although, of course, his ground army composition will be good. And this is not a very sentry-heavy force. The Banelings are going to do a lot of damage to these Zealots, which are, of course, light. Well, it does appear he's going to be attacking with the Void Ray together. This is pretty smart. He's going to engage with his army as a whole. The problem is that with these huge Baneling coming in, these Zerglings are coming in, they're going to do a run-by instantly. There is nothing here defending the base. And XSS is very quickly going to need to decide, do I turn around or do I go for a base trade? If he turns around at this point, he probably loses the game. He needs to go forward and do a base trade, and that does appear to be what he is going to do. This is his only chance to win the game. We can see he is pulling all of his probes. He's going up here and engaging this force. Roaches are, of course, very good against Zealots. There's no kiting whatsoever here out of Pwnxssgame1. Problem is he doesn't have things that shoot up. He is making 2 more Queens, and we can see XSS is pushing in here with this very Zealot heavy force, but the Void Rays are just destroying everything. The DPS are doing is massive, and he needs, if he can keep this queen count down, if I'm pwnxssgame1, he might want to throw down an Evo Chamber and a Hydro Den at this point. He certainly has the resources to do it. This way he could at least secure his third in the case of a base race. Very, very, very smart here by XSS. Look at this. He's got drones on hold position and attack move on the ramp, holding off any escape. He GG's out of the game. What a great comeback by XSS there. Very, very well played. pwnxssgame1 had absolutely no scouting whatsoever, and that let XSS take the game. Really, really well played. Amazingly done. Great game by XSS. The series moves to 2-1, and we now move to the next game.